You open the fridge, reach for your usual slice of bread, a spoonful of yogurt, maybe even a few slices of turkey. Everything seems ordinary, familiar, and safe. But lately, your legs have felt heavier. Your balance seems just a bit off. And worst of all, you wake up again at 2 a.m, clutching your calf as another sudden leg cramp takes hold. You drink more water. You stretch before bed. You try everything the doctor recommends, but the pain still returns. What if the real problem is not your age, not your routine, and not your muscles either? What if the hidden reason is sitting quietly behind the fridge door right now, wrapped in plastic and labeled healthy? After 60, your body doesn't digest, repair, or fight off toxins the same way it used to. And unfortunately, some foods that seem innocent in the fridge can quietly increase inflammation, strain your nerves, and make leg cramps worse. Today, we're going to walk through the top 9 fridge foods that may be doing you more harm than good. The refrigerator is one of the most trusted places in your kitchen. It keeps your milk cold, your vegetables crisp, and your leftovers safe. But for people over 60, the fridge can also become a silent source of trouble. According to the USDA, more than 2 million cases of foodborne illness each year are linked to improper storage, and seniors are 4 times more likely to experience serious complications. That is not just about bacteria. As we age, the digestive system slows down. The immune response becomes weaker. Even the way our muscles absorb nutrients begins to shift. That is why some cold foods, even ones labeled natural or organic, can become harder to process, increasing gut irritation, raising blood sugar, or making leg cramps worse. Your body might be more sensitive now, not broken, just different. And that means small changes matter more than ever. Keeping the wrong foods chilled can create inflammation, interfere with muscle recovery, and contribute to the loss of strength, energy, and mental clarity over time. It is not about eating less. It is about storing smarter. So today, let's open that fridge door together and take a closer look at what might need to go, starting with a food that pretends to help but often makes things harder. Food 9, bread. For most people, bread is comfort. It is soft, simple, and easy to pair with just about anything. But after 60, what feels like comfort can quietly become a source of discomfort, especially when bread is stored in the fridge. Many people refrigerate bread to keep it from spoiling too fast. It sounds smart, but cold temperatures actually change the structure of the starches inside, making the bread harder to digest. This process is called retrogradation, and while that word sounds complicated, the result is simple. Refrigerated bread stiffens, becomes dense, and is no longer gentle on a slower-moving digestive system. Take Carl, 72, from Oregon. He had been waking up bloated almost every morning. He thought it was just part of aging. Then one day, on his daughter's advice, he moved his whole grain bread from the fridge to a dark cabinet. Within a week, his stomach felt lighter, his leg cramps disappeared, and his afternoon energy crashes stopped. Scientific research backs up what Carl noticed. A study from the Journal of Cereal Science found that cold bread had a significantly lower glycemic index. At first, that sounds like a good thing. But what it really means is the bread digests more slowly, lingers longer in the stomach, and can ferment in the gut. That can increase gas cramping and irregularity, especially in seniors with sensitive digestion. And for those already prone to leg cramps, bloating can make sleep more restless, increase nighttime tension, and interfere with muscle relaxation. There is a better way. Keep your bread in a cool, dark pantry wrapped tightly and eat it within a few days. If you need to store it longer, freeze it instead, but only toast it directly from frozen. Never leave it sitting cold in the fridge. Cold bread does not preserve your energy. It delays digestion, adds pressure to your gut, and can quietly make aging feel harder than it needs to. Coming up next is a popular produce item that wears a healthy disguise. It looks fresh, it feels nutritious, but when you store it wrong, it can dull your taste buds and inflame your joints. Food 8, tomatoes. Tomatoes are one of the most celebrated foods in the American diet. They are packed with antioxidants, rich in color, and often seen as a symbol of healthy eating. But for many people over 60, the way tomatoes are stored could be doing more harm than good. The moment you put a tomato into the fridge, especially if it is not fully ripe, something begins to change inside. The flavor flattens, the texture becomes mealy, and most importantly, the nutrients start to break down. According to research from the University of Florida, tomatoes chilled below 50 degrees Fahrenheit lose important enzyme activity. These enzymes are what help tomatoes develop their full flavor and maintain antioxidant power. When those enzymes shut down, you are not just losing taste, you are also losing health benefits like lycopene and vitamin C. Gloria, 66, from New Jersey, had been putting fresh tomatoes in her fridge for decades. She thought she was keeping them fresh, but she noticed they often tasted bland and left her with acid reflux. One summer on a whim, she left a basket of tomatoes on the kitchen counter. The difference was immediate. Her food tasted better, her leg cramps at night began to ease, and her stomach felt calmer overall. It turns out that cold tomatoes break down more rapidly in the gut, leading to faster fermentation. That fermentation can cause bloating, gas, and inflammation, especially in older adults with delicate digestion. And when tomatoes are later reheated, they can lose up to 30% of their vitamin C content, according to a study published in Post-Harvest Biology and Technology. That means even if you are eating tomatoes regularly, you might not be getting the full benefit. Worse, you might be unknowingly triggering inflammation in your joints, gut lining, or circulatory system. The fix is simple. Keep your tomatoes on the counter, ideally in a bowl with air circulation. Let them ripen naturally. Do not refrigerate unless they are already cut or becoming too soft. And even then, eat them quickly. Now let's look at a starchy favorite that often ends up in the fridge out of habit, but when chilled can create a toxic byproduct that hurts more than your digestion. Food 7, refrigerated potatoes. Potatoes are a household staple in almost every kitchen. They are affordable, versatile, and easy to prepare. But if you are keeping them in your fridge, you might be turning a healthy food into a harmful one without knowing it. When potatoes are exposed to cold temperatures, their natural starches begin to convert into sugars through a process called cold-induced sweetening. That may sound harmless, but it sets the stage for something much worse. When those sugar-loaded potatoes are later cooked, especially at high temperatures like baking or frying, they produce a chemical called acrylamide. The FDA has warned that acrylamide is a potential neurotoxin and has been linked to increased cancer risk in animal studies. For seniors whose detox systems may be slower, the buildup of such compounds can lead to nerves, stress, fatigue, and even symptoms like trembling hands or tingling feet. Henry, 70, from Michigan, had been struggling with high blood sugar despite eating what he thought was a clean diet. His doctor couldn't explain why his glucose levels were spiking after simple meals. Then a nutritionist asked where he stored his potatoes. That one question changed everything. After moving his potatoes out of the fridge and into a paper bag in the pantry, Henry's post-meal sugar spikes dropped and his energy levels improved within 2 weeks. But the concern goes beyond just blood sugar. Acrylamide has also been associated with muscle fatigue, poor circulation, and inflammatory conditions that make leg cramps more frequent and harder to relieve at night. According to a study in the journal Food and Chemical Toxicology, chilled potatoes that are later cooked can contain up to 3 times more acrylamide than those stored at room temperature. The good news is that avoiding this is easy. Store potatoes in a cool, dark, and dry area like a pantry or cupboard inside a breathable bag. Avoid keeping them in plastic or directly under sunlight. And never refrigerate raw potatoes. Up next is a fruit that turns from healthy to harmful the moment it goes into the fridge. It is sweet, soft, and often eaten at breakfast, but when stored cold, it loses the very nutrients your body needs most. Food 6, bananas in the fridge. Bananas are often seen as the perfect snack. They are soft, naturally sweet, and full of potassium, which is important for muscle health. But when you store bananas in the fridge, you may be undoing many of their natural benefits without even realizing it. Cold temperatures interfere with the banana's enzyme activity. This causes the fruit to turn mushy inside, even while the peel turns dark on the outside. Enzymes are what help regulate how sugars are absorbed in the body. When bananas are cold, these enzymes break down. That leads to a rapid sugar release instead of the slow, steady energy you expect. And for people over 60, that sudden spike in sugar can lead to fatigue, brain fog, and even dizziness. Alice, 68, from Georgia, used to keep her bananas chilled to keep them from going bad too quickly. But she started noticing headaches in the late morning and felt sleepy after breakfast. Her dietitian noticed the pattern and suggested she store bananas on the counter instead. Within a week, Alice's energy improved. Her leg cramps, especially in the early morning, also became less intense. There was also a bigger issue. A 2017 study in the Journal of Food Quality found that bananas stored below 55 degrees Fahrenheit lose a large portion of their polyphenols and vitamin C. These are antioxidants that help fight inflammation and support collagen, which protects joints and blood vessels. When vitamin C levels drop, the body's ability to repair muscles, skin, and connective tissue also weakens. That can increase soreness, stiffness, and delayed recovery from even light activity. For those already dealing with poor sleep or circulation, this may worsen nighttime leg cramps, making rest feel more exhausting than restorative. So what should you do instead? Keep bananas on the kitchen counter in a well-ventilated area. Use a hanging basket if possible to prevent bruising. If they begin to ripen too quickly, peel and freeze them in airtight bags for smoothies or baking, but never refrigerate them in whole form. Our next item might be sitting in your fridge door right now. It hides behind Asian flavors and marinade recipes, but its sodium levels can quietly raise your blood pressure and trigger swelling. Food 5, soy sauce and salty condiments. Soy sauce is one of those condiments that shows up in kitchens across America. It adds flavor to stir-fries, soups, and marinades. Many people store it in the fridge after opening, thinking that keeps it fresher. But for those over 60, the real danger of soy sauce is not about freshness. It is about how easy it becomes to overuse once it is sitting right there on the fridge shelf. Just 1 tablespoon of regular soy sauce can contain more than 900 milligrams of sodium. That is nearly half the recommended daily limit for older adults. And when it is cold and convenient, people are more likely to pour extra without realizing it. That quiet habit can raise blood pressure, cause swelling in the ankles and hands, and put extra stress on the kidneys and heart. Mark, 74, from Arizona, had stopped adding table salt to his meals, but his blood pressure remained high and his legs often felt tight and stiff at night. A nurse practitioner finally asked what sauces he used most. Mark said soy sauce straight from the fridge. Once he switched to a low-sodium version and began measuring portions carefully, his blood pressure dropped and the swelling in his feet eased within weeks. A study published in the Journal of the American Heart Association found that reducing sodium intake by just 25% led to a 30% drop in hypertension risk for older adults. Less salt does not just mean a healthier heart. It also reduces fluid retention, which can lessen muscle tightness and nighttime leg cramps. The lesson here is not that soy sauce is bad, it is that it should be used with full awareness. Store salty sauces like soy teriyaki and oyster sauce in the cupboard instead of the fridge. This makes you less likely to reach for them automatically. And always read the label. Choose low-sodium versions, or better yet, try coconut aminos, which offer a similar flavor with far less salt. Next up is something you might be eating in the name of gut health. It looks colorful, says fruit on the label, and promises probiotics, but when sweetened and chilled, it may do more damage than good. Food 4, flavored yogurt. Yogurt is one of those foods that sounds like a smart choice, especially when it claims to support digestion and strengthen immunity. But many store-bought yogurts, especially those with fruit or flavoring, are far from healthy once they hit your fridge. For people over 60, the impact of these chilled desserts disguised as health food can be more serious than expected. Most flavored yogurts are packed with added sugars, artificial sweeteners, thickeners, and stabilizers. These ingredients ferment quickly when chilled, disrupting the natural balance of good bacteria in your gut. Instead of helping digestion, they may cause bloating, cramping, and irregularity, especially in older adults with more sensitive stomachs. Carol, 72, from Illinois, started her mornings with strawberry yogurt straight from the fridge. She thought it helped her digestion, but by lunchtime, she felt gassy, tired, and strangely hungry again. Her doctor reviewed the label and found her yogurt had 18 grams of sugar per serving, almost as much as a glazed donut. Carol switched to plain Greek yogurt, added her own berries and chia seeds, and within a week her digestion improved and her leg cramps eased noticeably. According to a review in the journal Nutrition Reviews, older adults who consumed high-sugar dairy products daily were 32% more likely to experience poor gut health, bloating, and metabolic changes. That kind of disruption doesn't stay in the stomach. It can affect how your muscles recover, how your nerves respond, and how well you sleep at night. It is easy to be misled. Chilled yogurt cups are sold with images of fruit, green leaves, and words like immune support. But what your body needs is not packaging. It is balance. And that means avoiding unnecessary sugars that feed the wrong bacteria and stress the gut lining. The better option is to choose unsweetened high-protein yogurt and add your own toppings at home. Blueberries, chopped walnuts, flax seeds, or cinnamon can add fiber and flavor without overwhelming your system. And always keep an eye on portion sizes, even with the good stuff. Up next is a lunch meat that seems lean and healthy, but beneath the packaging, it carries chemical preservatives and sodium levels that can quietly chip away at your strength and circulation. Food 3, deli meats. Deli meats are marketed as convenient, lean, and even heart-friendly. Turkey slices, ham, roast beef, and chicken breasts, these are staples in many homes, especially for those trying to eat lighter. But for adults over 60, these cold cuts may carry more risk than reward, especially when stored and eaten straight from the fridge. The problem is not just the meat itself, it is what gets added to it. Most deli meats are heavily processed, packed with sodium nitrates and preservatives that help them stay fresh-looking longer. But these additives can raise blood pressure, strain the kidneys, and increase inflammation in muscles and joints. Joe, 69, from Pennsylvania, made the switch from bacon to turkey slices, thinking it was a healthier choice. But over time, he began experiencing numbness in his fingers, tightness in his calves, and occasional dizziness. His doctor ran tests and found dangerously high sodium levels. The source, his daily sandwich made with cold deli meat straight from the fridge. Within 2 weeks of replacing it with freshly cooked chicken breast, Joe's energy returned and his leg cramps stopped waking him up at night. A 2020 study in the journal Stroke reported that seniors who consume processed deli meats more than 4 times per week had a 44% higher risk of stroke. That is not just a number. It is a warning sign that these seemingly simple sandwich fillers can do real damage over time. The refrigerated environment may keep deli meat from spoiling quickly, but it also makes it easier to consume frequently without second thought. Cold meat feels ready to eat, but what it is really serving is a high dose of salt and chemicals that your body no longer handles the way it once did. The good news is you can still enjoy meat without the hidden dangers. Cook fresh chicken, turkey, or lean beef, slice it thin, and store it in a glass container for easy sandwiches and salads. You will skip the preservatives and gain real protein your muscles actually benefit from. Now let us take a look at a kitchen favorite that is hiding in nearly every fridge right next to the lettuce drawer. It is called healthy on the label, but its ingredients tell a very different story. Food 2, store-bought salad dressings. Salad dressings sound like the healthy part of a meal. After all, you are choosing greens, colorful vegetables, and taking a step away from heavy foods. But what many people over 60 do not realize is that the wrong salad dressing, especially when chilled in your fridge, can quietly cancel out the very health benefits your salad should provide. Most bottle dressings, even the ones labeled organic or heart healthy, are loaded with hidden sugars, hydrogenated oils, preservatives, and artificial thickeners. And once chilled, these ingredients settle and concentrate, making the dressing taste creamier and smoother while delivering a heavier dose of chemical additives. Brenda, 66, from Colorado, ate a salad almost every night. She believed she was doing everything right, but her joints ached, her sugar cravings got worse, and her weight would not budge. After working with a nutritionist, she discovered her favorite store-bought dressing had over 140 calories per 2 tablespoons and included 4 different inflammatory additives. Once she switched to olive oil, lemon, and herbs, Brenda lost 6 pounds in 1 month and said her knees felt better than they had in years. A 2022 study in the journal Nutrients found that seniors who regularly used processed dressings had a 22% higher risk of inflammation-related flare-ups and gut imbalance. That can translate into bloating, poor nutrient absorption, and even nighttime leg cramps caused by mineral loss and muscle tension. The truth is, the fridge makes it easy to overlook these dangers. Bottles with light labels, health claims, and bright packaging can give the illusion of nutrition, but behind the cap, they are often delivering exactly what your body no longer needs: excess salt, sugar, and chemical stress. Instead, build your own simple dressings at home. Olive oil, apple cider vinegar, garlic, mustard, and dried herbs take less than 2 minutes to prepare and can be stored in a sealed glass jar for days. These ingredients help reduce inflammation, support joint health, and improve digestion without overwhelming your system. Now let us turn to the final item. It is one of the most common proteins in senior households, but once opened and placed in the fridge, it quickly turns from brain food into a source of cellular stress. Food 1, leftover canned tuna. Canned tuna is often seen as one of the healthiest proteins you can keep in the kitchen. It is affordable, packed with omega-3 second, and easy to store. But after opening the can, what happens next matters more than most people realize. For adults, over 60 refrigerating leftover tuna the wrong way could quietly increase inflammation, weaken memory, and even trigger symptoms that feel like aging but are not. Once opened, tuna begins to oxidize quickly, especially when left in its original metal can. This oxidation process creates harmful compounds called lipid peroxides, which damage cells, inflame blood vessels, and accelerate aging from the inside out. Richard, 66, from Minnesota, used to open a can of tuna, eat half, and store the rest in the fridge, still in the can. Within a few months, he noticed brain fog, bloating, and tightness in his joints. His daughter, a dietitian, recognized the pattern. She helped him switch to storing leftover tuna in a sealed glass container and eating it within 24 hours. The result was surprising. His digestion improved, his hands felt less swollen, and his energy returned by the end of the first week. A 2021 study in the Journal of Food Science found that oxidized fish oils from poorly stored tuna increased markers of oxidative stress by more than 40%. For older adults, this kind of stress is closely linked to memory decline, joint pain, and reduced muscle recovery. It can even contribute to leg cramps, especially when nutrient absorption is affected by ongoing inflammation. Refrigerating tuna isn't the issue. It is how you do it that matters. Never leave tuna in the metal can after opening. Always transfer it to a clean, airtight glass or ceramic container and eat it within a day. If you need to store it longer, freeze it instead. These small steps prevent the buildup of harmful compounds and keep the omega-3 second working in your favor, not against you. You can still enjoy tuna as part of a healthy diet. Just treat it with the same care you give to your heart, brain, and bones. Now that we have uncovered all 9 foods, let's bring it all together and talk about what this really means for your daily choices. When you open your fridge, it is easy to feel like everything inside is safe. Cold equals fresh, right? But as we have seen for people over 60, that is not always true. Some foods that appear harmless, bread, yogurt, deli meat, even bananas, can quietly work against your body when stored the wrong way. This is not about fear. It is about awareness. As your body changes with age, your fridge should change with it. Because digestion slows down, muscles take longer to recover. And nutrients are absorbed differently. When the wrong foods sit in the cold too long, they can cause bloating, inflammation, poor circulation, and yes, even trigger more frequent leg cramps. But now you know better. You have seen how simple changes moving your bread to the pantry, your potatoes out of the fridge, or your tuna into glass containers can make a real difference. This is your kitchen. These are your choices, and your body deserves a space that supports strength, not steals it. So before you close the fridge today, take a moment, look again. What is sitting in there that does not belong? What can you move, swap, or replace to better support your energy, memory, and balance? And if this video helped you see your fridge in a new way, please hit the like button. Subscribe for more health tips made just for you. And tell us in the comments which food surprised you the most. Your answer might just help someone else.